Hey YouTube. So trade is not what money is for, part 2. I spoke about the harm that profit entails in my last video. In this one I want to discuss the harm of currency itself, as the title implies. So currency is a problem because it's manipulatable, it's very manipulatable, it's transportable, and for all practical purposes it's costless. Especially in the digital age, it's ephemeral. Now, most people would argue, especially based upon the education system and its part in imparting this this notion, that that's a good thing. The fact of the matter is, it's not. The ease of currency in terms of trade, we won't say that because that's not what it's for. Profit. The ease of currency in terms of profit is what makes it so capable of manipulating prices, of creating monopolies, of relieving the wealthy of the burdens of actually owning the things that they own. If 1% of the population owns 50% of the wealth, then what you're looking at is a situation in which 1% of the population owns half of everything. Except, of course, they don't, because they don't have to use all of that wealth. They can sock it away in various things that grow at a rate that is unnatural, that is not possible with actual material goods. Cows do not breed at the rate that money grows, with the cows just being a simple example. Cows do not breed at the rate that money grows when you're talking about interest, compound interest, investment, capital gains. The notions behind currency, the notions that currency allows for, are means that grow wealth completely outside of the bounds of nature, which further increases the gap between, of course, the rich and the poor, because the poor, if they own things, they own things. But they don't really own them because the laws are in favor of, obviously, the wealthy. So, as a rule, what the poor own, they don't own, they lease. They hold it until the rich people decide to come in and take it. And that's pretty much what you see in any number of issues. You see it in gentrification. I want your house. You don't want to sell the house. Well, I'll give you twice what the house is worth. You're probably going to sell the house. But it's not twice what the house is worth. It's twice what the house is worth because the property value dropped, because that was the only way that it could be sold when no rich person was interested in it, because of the miserable wages. So they're creating the situation that allows them to easily buy up anything that they want whenever they want it. That's on the low end of the scale. On the high end of the scale, well, if you have 50% of the wealth of the country or of the world, then you can create a situation in which something is so expensive that nobody could ever buy it if that's what you wanted. You can create a situation on the other side of where something is so cheap that you basically are getting it for free. Because, of course, you're not making it cheap for the people who are impoverished. You're making it cheap for yourself. Having no disposable income means nothing's cheap. Anyway. Next paragraph. As the wealth grows larger, the ability to literally dictate. But, well, we've kind of already covered some of that. But the part's on capitalism. There are people who suggest that capitalism protects against that. But the fact of the matter is, capitalism is actually a big part of why this is happening. Currency is the primary issue, but capitalism is a big part of it. Because what happens with capitalism is you have the who builds a better mousetrap game. Now, it's not actually about who builds a better mousetrap. It's about who people think builds a better mousetrap, and even not even that, but whose mousetrap people buy, which doesn't necessarily have to do with which one's best. It doesn't necessarily have to do with which one is more affordable, which one is more effective. It has to do with which one people buy, which is manipulatable in any number of ways. Now, without getting into too much on the particulars of how that can be manipulated, the fact of the matter is, once somebody wins the capitalism game, once somebody has substantially more wealth than other people, capitalism dissolves. It's done. There's whether or not it was effective and it's in its early stage, the game is over. But nobody's resetting the board. What you have is a situation in which they don't have to have a monopoly of the product because they have a monopoly of the currency. And because they have a monopoly of the currency, they can dictate the prices of things without even controlling all of the product, because they can buy all of the product whenever they want. They don't have to buy the product directly. They can buy the product that the product is made of. They don't have to buy the product that the product is made of directly. They can pay farmers not to grow it if it's a crop. Manufacturers, they can buy businesses up and shutter them. There's any of a billion ways. As I said, I'm not going to get too far into the particulars on what those ways are. The fact of the matter is, once the currency is in the hands of a small number of people, there is no such thing as competition. There's mostly just collusion. Collusion is not capitalism. Collusion is the worst form of socialism available. Feudalism. Fascism, maybe. But that's more on that later.